Hey guys, welcome to the summer, and it's been Father's Day on Sunday. So obviously it's a belated Happy Father's Day. So I was supposed to do this episode on Sunday, but the Celtics losing NBA Finals was a bit tough to handle, so I decided to delay till all the way now, Saturday. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So far, Marvel's been doing really well this summer with Miss Marvel, Iman Balali, great new show. Also, Thor: Love and Thunder coming up very soon on July 4th. Talk about fireworks, and of course, all sorts of great stuff. So yeah, we're going to be giving Benedict Cumberbatch and some great fathers in Marvel a great tribute. So this is the React Multiverse of Madness. So yes, for this episode, we have basically Benedict Cumberbatch. He's a great father, great husband, great actor. He's a big newbie at algorithms, Kubernetes, and stuff that we're good at. So let's be transported into the multiverse of algorithmic madness and appreciate the hard work that dads around the world do for their children, including learning how to provide for their family, which is tough in this day and age during a pandemic, inflation rates, global conflicts, what have you. So problem A, we have the multiverse of React madness. So Doctor Strange and America Chavez, who is the girl in Doctor Strange helping out Doctor Strange, are still stuck in the multiverse, and it's nearly time to go home. Chavez says in Spanish, "¿A dónde estás, Doctor Strange?" which means, where are we in the multiverse? So let's answer Chavez's question, her multicultural conundrum, with the React solution. We're building at least 5 React components that's different multicultural languages for welcome: Chinese, English, Spanish, French, Russian, what have you. We'll make separate multiverse websites with different portals, or in this case, localhost 3000 addresses from React. So for this, we're going to actually make it a little bit simpler. I already have actually a code pen, which I will share right now, a code pen. So for this episode, we introduce React. So first of all, React is a JavaScript language basically used for web design or web development. In my Northeastern course, thanks to Professor Jose Anunciado, I learned a lot of great coding and web dev. And I actually use a fair amount in my own personal job right now for both Dell and Optum. So for this thing, we basically have 3 different types of codes. We have the HTML, which is just a root div. We have CSS, which allows you to change colors to make a very basic Hello World application. And for JavaScript, we have Babel, which is a React library. So first, we're going to actually determine the Hello World as so. So we're going to run this as is, and then we're going to open up the network developers. So when you open up developer tools, which allow you to check how many times the console has been properly hit the network. So right now, you want to record the reload. So you're going to click Control R to click reload. Now it's status 200 and about, I'd say around like 500 networks. So for America, we have 500 networks hitting America, which is pretty good. America, great. Now we continue on to this next thing, which is España or Spain. So for Spain, we're going to first comment out America here, or English. I'm going to do a little Espanol or Spanish, Spain. So for Spain, we're going to do Hola Mundo, which is, of course, Hello World for Spain. And Hola Mundo is Spain. So then for Spain, we're going to determine how many times the React hits. So once again, we go over the developer tools. We drag the dev tools, of course. Now this only works on Mac. You can't do this on Windows. So it's very important to be careful with that. The network, we once again record the activity. Yes, we once again record the activity. We'll reload. So as you see from Spain, quite a bit this time. We have now actually only 200 from Spain. So Spain is only going to be 200. So probably not the best way home for Doctor Strange there for Spain. And yes, the thing about React is that you can actually reload each element much as you want. So that means we can finally get some Chinese in here. So we can finally get some Chinese in here. So we're going to actually uncomment the Chinese. And make this a little bit easier, I'm going to actually scroll over here. Comment out Spain and comment out America. Actually, sorry, comment out America. So I'm going to comment out America here for const root. And now we only have the Chinese, which should be pretty good. There may be an error after debug. So I'm going to try what the error is. Unexpected token, line 21. Okay, that means this is gone. So as you can see, it'll show the Chinese, 你好世界, which is pretty awesome. So for the Chinese, we'll be able to determine the developer tools here. And here we're going to once again run a network determining how many packets it's going to hit. So once again, hit console R. Well, if you don't want to do that all the time, you can just simply do the following. You can disable the cache, stop recording, and record again. And for the Chinese, we should be able to get something different. So let me see. We'll reload again for the Chinese, and it looks like it's 400 this time. So yep, based on three countries and 3 languages of English, Spanish, and Chinese, America #1. So obviously, Doctor Strange will go back to America and do the American stuff. So let me reshare my screen again, back to the Algos intent. Don't worry, I will have all the React components and coding in my website, in my GitHub. So yep, we have determined the React components with most visitors, one that Chavez and Doctor Strange should go. So obviously, America #1, America wins. Problem B is a Kubernetes conundrum, defeat the Scarlet Witch. And she's played by Elizabeth Olsen, by the way. So unfortunately, the Scarlet Witch is here, and she's madder than the Celtics fans of Jason Tatum messing up the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. However, the Darkhold, which is making her evil, if you have not seen the movie, spoiler alert, that's how she becomes evil, is in her grasp. So some of the Harry Potter Horcrux, she's behaving that badly because she's possessed by a demon. And we all are possessed by a demon. To break that demon, praise the Lord, we enlisted Doctor Strange to unlock the malfunctioning Kubernetes job that's running wrong. This is a debugging episode as well. So first got to open the malfunctioning job in terminal. So once again, I'm going to share that. I'm going to share my terminal. I will determine what's wrong with the job. So first, we're going to first try to attempt to apply the job wrong. kubectl apply -f job wrong.yaml. And you'll see very quickly it's giving me something integer false and a whole bunch of errors, right? So now I've got vi job wrong.yaml. So right away you could tell you're not supposed to have string completions 5. You're supposed to have 5 as an integer. And also you're supposed to know that the command, the bin bash command for Kubernetes should all be in string as well. And that's it for the errors to fix. So one big point is to make sure you understand how to like debug the errors carefully. So kubectl apply this again and give Kubernetes a minute to run because it is rather slow. You got the job created. So you can then kubectl get job wrong to determine the status of a job. And of course, you want to keep on letting the job run here. So right now, the completion is going to be 0 out of 5 because as I show in the episode, that we're trying to make sure it runs periodically every 5 minutes for Monday to Friday, weekends off. In the completed job run, it will actually be able to do that. So now I'm going to make a cron job that will be able to do that. So for the cron job, it's pretty simple. I will go back to my terminal I make sure this thing is still running correctly. All right, we'll leave it there. So we're gonna VI cron job right. So this one is not any job going wrong, it's just a cron job that I'm running here. So for the cron job, I determine every 5 minutes, Monday through Friday. So basically 12 hours, Monday through Friday. And then this is the days, this is the month, and this is the year. So that's just to write it in Kubernetes style here. So I'll try to run this thing and hopefully no error. Whoops. And of course, you have to be careful typing your commands in Kubernetes, otherwise it's not going to work. Yep, so it's now configured. So now if you try to run kubectl logs on test, you're going to be able to see that kubectl log get cron job on test. You'll see get the kubectl job. So suspended false, and you want to be able to log the cron test. Okay, so apparently it doesn't do logs here for the pod, so you have to go back to the YAML file to determine what log you had. So it does get a little bit confusing trying to log the file, but anyways, it works, and that's all matters in this episode. So finally, the moment you've been waiting for, part C, which is a CTCI parody prompt 6. So it's called To the Darkhold and Back with Linked Lists, and it's a special, and it's also my dad's favorite way to tie a tie, you know, like tie from front to back to front, like my boy Jason Tatum when he was a YouTuber back then. So finally, Doctor Strange and America Chavez are back home and they are exhausted. Before Doctor Strange wants to go to sleep, he wants to make sure that all the portals in the multiverse are left exactly the way it is before. Because in a Marvel superhero world, you must clean up after yourself or worlds get blown up. So you must implement an algorithm that determines if the series of portals are a palindrome multiverse, which means the first multiverse and the last multiverse, if you flip around, should be in the exact same order traversed. That's in the same terms of inhabitants. So come up with 3 solutions. And this is something that a very common coding interview from like a Fortune 500 will probably ask. A tortoise and hare, slow, fast pointer, recursive and iterative solutions. And of course, it's very important to know linked lists because they help you understand the recursion and backtracking skills. So before I even get into the code, let me just introduce you some linked list stuff. So get my whiteboard out for this. So a linked list is a data structure that's essentially like a chain. So let's say, for example, I have this linked list and I have these arrows as pointers. And of course, this thing pointed to a thing called null, which is a dot in computer science terms. So first thing you want to know about linked lists is that you have to have a data structure. So for example, this multiverse 1, multiverse 2, multiverse 3. So if you want to do a Java pseudocode, you can do the following: public get linked list length, for example. And of course, it's going to return void here. So linked list length is going to return void. So just return linked list length, for example, will return the length of a linked list. Now you want to determine how many elements there are in linked list. So you want to do the following. I just want to determine how many pointers are to the linked list. Then you want to determine the following. You want to have a previous and a next pointer in each linked list. So here, you're going to have a previous pointer, which is pointing previously. And you're going to have a next pointer, which is going to point next. And this thing over here, the previous and the next, is called a doubly linked list. So this is getting some very basic computer science review from like my BU undergrad, which is a pretty cool thing. So you have a previous and a next pointer. So for previous pointer, you keep on you keep on going from 1 to 2 to 3. I mean 3 to 2 to 1. The next pointer, you gotta go from 1 to 2 to 3. And this is an example of a palindrome multiverse right here. So this is an example of palindrome multiverse, because you can traverse from multiverses 1, multiverse 2, multiverse 3, and all the way back from multiverse 2 back to multiverse 1. So this is a good example of that. And it's also in order, so it's going to be sequentially appropriate. Now, I'm going to save this, and we're going to have another solution. So before I get to solution, I want to talk about recursion and backtracking. So recursion is basically trying to avoid repeating doing steps over and over and over again. So from like seasons 1 to 2. And backtracking relates to dynamic programming, which is pretty important. So actually, for this episode, I will not be showing any code for my solution because it's pretty much in CTCI and it's very self-explanatory. But I will show you generally how the pseudocode would work for at least the first solution. So I'll quickly show you pseudocode for the first solution. So for the first solution, it's pretty straightforward. Reverse and compare. So this is like basically the most general solution, which is reverse and compare. So for reverse and compare, you want to do the following. You want to have a Boolean function, returns true or false, that determines is the linked list a palindrome multiverse. That's like the big function there. And you want to find a linked list node of head. There's like the head of the list, head of your class. So you want to be able to have a linked list node reversed. Now, before I even do that though, let me make sure head's not null. So if head is already null, return nothing. So make sure head is not already null for linked lists, because otherwise you're basically doing nothing. So you could return head. Return head if head is already null. I know in Java, you're not supposed to return null because of null pointer exception, but in this case, since you're not doing anything but like basically moving with null, it does not matter. Otherwise, you go back here and determine linked list node of reverse equals, and now Gale uses reverse and clone with one parameter. I'll use two actually. I'll use reverse and clone multiverse with both a head and a data structure, actually, which is going to be pretty important. I'm going to put this all in one line so you can see what my code is doing. This is why it's very important to make sure your code is actually like doing everything properly. There's your first function right there. Now your second function is going to be the reverse and clone multiverse. So I'm going to save this function. I'm going to clear and make another text. So for this function, public and returns a linked list node. Linked list node reverse and clone multiverse, which has taking in the linked list node, a node actually this time, and a data. So basically string data. So if the node is null or the data is also null, you basically have nothing to do. So that means you essentially have generally nothing to do here. Nothing to do here. So basically return the node. Otherwise, if you want to continue on, you can do a while loop. So you can first determine as a sentinel linked list node head equals null. So first have a sentinel value to do this. Next, you can determine while the node is not null, traverse the clone of each node. And this is just going to be clone of the node here. Finally, you can return the head once you're done traversing. With my real coding solution, I'll have everything for you, but this is just pseudocode. Finally, you have public Boolean is equal multiverse. So determine if the multiverse, if split in half, is equal or not. I can have linked list node 1, linked list node 2. So like first multiverse half, second multiverse half. If 1 and 2 are null already, return null, which means because you have nothing to do. Otherwise, while both 1 and 2 are not null, you want to basically move to next pointers, both of them, and that is it for the episode. So I move to next pointers for both 1 and for both pointer 1 and pointer 2. So yeah, this is a bit bare bones, but the actual episode has a lot more in for the results. So yeah, this is Algos in 10, season 3, episode 4 with Jason Liu. Happy belated Father's Day, and of course, July 4th will be pretty awesome when we have the Minesweeper OOP. I'll be on vacation after that, so see you guys later. Bye.